Hello and welcome to the first of what will most likely be a series of Crackpot Steven Universe theories. In today's episode, we will be discussing the following question. Is Lapis Lazuli in fact Blue Diamond? I'm going to start off with a quick disclaimer. This theory is just that, a theory. There is good evidence to back it up, but in all likelihood it will turn out to be the crazed ramblings of a poor fan driven insane by Stephen Bomb 3. I'd also like to apologize for the lack of actual clips. I wanted to get this video out before the next episode airs. Now, onto the theory. Let's do a quick recap of what we know about Lapis's history within the show and her abilities, as all of this will become relevant later in the video. Lapis Lazuli is first introduced in the episode Mirror Gem. In this episode, Steven, who wants to go to school, is given a mirror by Pearl. Pearl says, "We found this gem-powered mirror at the Galaxy Warp. It can capture and display any event it's witnessed in all of gem history." She goes on to say, "It'll offer you everything you've ever wanted to know about your fellow gems and gem culture." However, later on in the episode, it's made clear that Pearl knows this is not just an ordinary mirror, even a gem-powered one. "It's talking to him," she says. "It shouldn't be able to do that. It should just be following orders." It's likewise revealed that Garnet and Amethyst also know that this mirror is not all that it seems to be. This is one of the episodes in which we see a darker side of the crystal gems. It becomes clear that the mirror gem is scared of them and doesn't want them to know about her. Garnet tries to take the mirror, which is clearly a sentient gem, from Steven. Steven, of course, flees and winds up freeing the gem as we know as Lapis Lazuli from the confines of the mirror. It's quickly indicated that Lapis is possibly the most powerful gem we've seen in the entire series. Lapis is able to form perfect mirrors of the crystal gems and is able to do battle with each of them on even footing, all the while controlling the entire ocean and sending it up into the sky to try to get back to Homeworld. As other theorists have pointed out, this was all done while her gem was cracked almost completely through, a state in which Amethyst, for instance, was rendered almost completely useless and hardly able to talk. Lapis escapes to Homeworld and shows up later on board Peridot's ship, imprisoned in the same way Steven and his friends were trapped. We'll come back to this later, as well as the implications of Lapis fusing with Jasper and dragging her to the bottom of the ocean, which is where she is currently within the show's timeline. Now on to the fun part, the theory, namely that Lapis is not in fact Lapis Lazuli, but Blue Diamond. Canonically, we've only seen one diamond referenced, Yellow Diamond. There are some great fan theories out there that Rose Quartz was in fact Pink Diamond, and we see a white diamond in the symbols for the Diamond Authority. In these symbols, the diamonds are represented either by diamond shapes or triangles. We also see a blue diamond in every one of these symbols, so clearly Blue Diamond exists. Who Blue Diamond is another question altogether. The crystal gems clearly have their symbol, a star, on all their clothing. Peridot and Jasper have the yellow diamond symbol on their clothing. Pearl wears a pink diamond symbol in Space Race, but we've also seen a third color of diamond symbol, the blue diamond, and we've seen it in only one place, Lapis's dress. We can therefore deduce that at the very least, when imprisoned in the mirror, Lapis was a servant or follower of the Blue Diamond of the Diamond Authority. But let's think critically about this for a second. We've seen other servants or followers throughout the series. Arguably every gem we've met falls into this category. Rose was the leader of the crystal gems, Peridot and Jasper serve Yellow Diamond, etc. Each of these gems is shown to have specific abilities, and based off of matchups between them in the series, we can determine that the most powerful among these gems is Garnet. But as has been pointed out by others, Garnet is easily beaten by Lapis, who at the same time is also mirroring Pearl, Amethyst, and Steven, and fighting each of them, and controlling the entire ocean, all at once, with a broken gem. Also, when fused with Jasper, Lapis is able to maintain control of the fusion for an extended amount of time. In Coach Steven, we see how quickly Sugilite overwhelms Garnet and Amethyst. Lapis, in a fusion where she's not only fighting Malachite, but Jasper as well, maintains control. It's difficult, but she pulls it off. Lapis is in a class all her own power-wise, at least for a non-fusion. Her abilities don't at all line up with the other gems in the series, even the ones who are arguably built or intended to be fighters, Garnet and Jasper. It's more along the lines of what you would expect from one of the rulers of Gem Society. Now let's look at some of the visual motifs and what we can learn about gem history from them. In Sirius Steven, the camera gives us a great shot of this mural. It clearly depicts rose quartz fighting a gem wearing a diamond symbol. Notice a few things about this image: what the enemy gem is standing on, what they are surrounded by, the moon and stars above them, and the pose they've taken. Now let's go step by step through this. Here is what the enemy gem is standing on. This doesn't just look like a platform. In fact, it looks a lot like a stylized depiction of water. For comparison, here are Lapis's wings, similar shape and trajectory. Now let's look at what the enemy gem is surrounded by. We can see here small diamond shapes surrounding them. These can be taken to be water droplets stylized for this mural. But now let's look back at some key scenes from the episode Mirror Gem. We can see the diamonds here, when the mirror is first summoned, and again here, when Stephen releases Lapis from the mirror. Lapis is likewise framed by stars in Ocean Gem. The same diamond shapes are used for stars in the mural. Now let's look at the enemy's gem pose in the mural. We can see their hand outstretched to strike rose quartz with something they're controlling, their other hand behind them, and their stance. You know what this looks like? Lapis's stance in Ocean Gem. It's almost exact. The parallel also exists slightly when Stephen removes Lapis from the mirror, although this is more than likely simply dramatic framing for that scene. The positioning of the diamond symbol on the enemy gem also corresponds fairly well with the location of Lapis's gem. Now let's go back to the mural and say the enemy gem is in fact attacking rose quartz with something. What does Rose seem to be doing? She seems to be blocking the attack, not fighting back, just blocking it. It's pretty obviously implied that she's using her shield. The mural is, after all, a simplified depiction, and a shield or other specific details would clutter it up. If this scene, Rose blocking the attack of a gem who is shooting something at her, sounds familiar, you're probably making the connection that I made. In the battle with Lapis in Ocean Gem, Lapis only stops fighting them when Stephen pulls out his shield, blocks Lapis's water attack, and tells Lapis, "I don't want to fight." Incidentally, Rose is depicted standing in front of several figures in the mural. Stephen is protectively standing in front of Connie and Greg, and is in a sense shielding the other gems from Lapis. I would be very surprised if these parallels were unintentional. There are so many of them, and in this show there are so many small details, and the symbols and patterns often hint at things to come. Case in point are the theories that cropped up fairly early on that Garden was a fusion. We all know how those turned out. Last but not least, let's take a peek back at the mirror. Not just the mirror itself, but the circumstances surrounding it. In the show in general, up to this point, we'd only seen one method of gems being trapped, or imprisoned, or protected, and that's bubbling. We see this over and over every time the crystal gems fight a monster. The gem is bubbled and sent back to the temple. All except Lapis. Lapis is stuck in the back of a mirror, which Pearl keeps in her gem, the same place she summons her weapon from. She even produces the mirror in the same way, and she clearly knew that this wasn't an ordinary mirror, that it wasn't back to gem. Maybe she didn't know which gem specifically. Maybe Rose told her to keep the mirror safe, but didn't give her the particular specifics surrounding it, other than that it was a dangerous gem or something along those lines. But that's mere speculation. Let's get back to the evidence. When the mirror is first produced, and again when Lapis is freed, we get a good look at the glass pattern of the mirror. Two of the diamond shapes we were discussing earlier resting across each other. After Stephen pulls Lapis's gem free from the mirror, we see the pattern that forms around his feet, resembling a many-faceted gem cut, very unlike the gem we see on Lapis. In fact, it looks far more like a cut diamond than any example of Lapis Lazuli that I've ever seen. And when she's freed, Lapis consistently reaffirms one thing, that her name is Lapis Lazuli. There's even a song from the soundtrack named that. It's such a big moment in the episode. Now this can be taken two ways. One is that she's been a mirror for thousands of years and she's just happy to be herself again and finally be able to say who she is to someone. That's honestly the more likely meaning behind this. The other one, however, is that during her thousands of years in the mirror, the gem once known as Blue Diamond decided on a new identity, possibly because of Rose's influence. This theory holds more weight if it's combined with the theory that Rose is pink diamond, so it should be taken with a grain of salt, as it relies on another theory to gain a real foothold. However, Lapis also asks the gems, "Did you even wonder who I used to be?" Again, this can be taken simply at face value, or it can be stretched to indicate that Lapis wonders if they've ever thought they might have had Blue Diamond under their noses, or, over their nose, this whole time. In the episode The Message, Lapis tells Stephen, "Homeworld is not the way it used to be. Everything here is so advanced, I can't even understand it. There's no way anything on Earth can stand up to it. Please don't put up a fight. It'll only lead to devastation. Clearly Lapis was in fact around for the gem war, and then Jailbreak, she says, things are bad enough as it is. I've already made too much trouble. Once we get back to Homeworld, they're going to decide what to do with us, and if they do everything they say, they might go easy on us. So there's clearly a they involved. One of the they is strongly implied to be Yellow Diamond. Another member of this they is likely the white diamond we see in the current Diamond Authority symbol. However, Lapis says, I've already made too much trouble. How would she have made trouble? The only thing she's done is send a message back to Steven warning him not to fight the Homeworld gems. My personal theory, that the trouble Lapis made was simply a return to Homeworld. After so long away, would the former Blue Diamond be welcome, and after so long trapped in a mirror, would even a powerful gem such as her be able to stand up to the other Diamond Authority members who have had thousands more years to hone their gem abilities? And when Steven says goodbye to Lapis at the end of Ocean Gem, the camera zooms in on a star that is very conspicuously diamond-shaped. It's implied that this is Homeworld, as the camera holds steady as Steven says, wherever you are, and we know Lapis has made it back to Homeworld. But we can't discount that it might also be a hint of things to come with regard to Lapis. I'll leave you with one final thought. There's an interesting fact about the actual gemstone Lapis Lazuli. In the show, Lapis can control water. In real life, Lapis Lazuli will dissolve in water. It doesn't follow that a gem who would likely disappear from existence if exposed to water would be able to control it so well. It's more likely that Lapis isn't in fact Lapis Lazuli, but is using the similar gemstone color and the crystal gem's lack of knowledge about Blue Diamond to hide her true identity. Anyway, that's just my theory. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is Lapis Blue Diamond? Is she actually just Lapis Lazuli? Something else entirely? Send me your input, and happy Steven Bomb, everyone.